What's going on, subscribers, viewers of this video from YouTube, Facebook, wherever you may be? This is Bill Mack here once again with Pro Wrestling Unleashed. Glad you joined today with another video. This is from Impact Wrestling. Last night's episode, May 11th, 2017. What a good episode that we have here with some surprises and a new champion, as you can kind of see from the picture here. Impact had a lot of goodness things going on in it. A lot of Grand Championship matchup. We also had the LAX's funeral for the Decay, and a lot of other surprises going on. So let's just jump right into it. So Impact begins with a basic X Division Fatal 4-Way. Here you had Adam Everett, you had Caleb Conley, Matt Seidel, and Desmond Xavier. Good matchup. A lot of high-flying action going along here. Fast pace is only the X Division can do. Good to see them start off. Good to see them actually have some X Division matchups and really start to focus back on that, because that's what worked before. That's what's going to work again. They just have to set themselves aside from just doing what they used to do. The new regime's in now. Jeff Jarrett, Dutch Mantel, Anthem is in now. They're going to try to get it back on track, which is what I love. X Division matchups. Really what stuns the crowd, wants the crowd to see wrestling, more of it. So really good to start off this matchup. So we see that basically Adam Everett ends up getting the victory here. He ends up hitting the Franken driver, which is an awesome move on Desmond Xavier. I love that move because it's like he's going to flip him over and then he just drives his head into the mat to get the win. So really good match win for Adam Everett, as he has tried so long for the last couple months to try to get a title matchup for that X Division title, which is now currently held by Low Key. So good win for him, for Adam Everett to start off this week's edition of Impact Wrestling. We see next come out, we see EC3, and remember EC3 is going through a heel turn right now. So he's had this feud going on with James Storm the last few weeks. He's really into this character of who the old EC3 was, which remember a while back Bruce Pritchard had told him that he needed to go back and look in the mirror and find the true EC3. Heel turn, I wasn't necessarily enthused about it, but hey, it is what it is. But EC3 came out, he was dressed as a cowboy, and not like Cowboy James Storm, like with the chaps and the cowboy hat and everything, and he starts taunting James Storm and picking at James Storm. He starts singing Friends in Low Places, and then this, which prompts James Storm to come out. And James Storm gets the upper hand on EC3 until EC3 hits him with the shoe. And then what he does, he takes out a pair of handcuffs. Now, we all know when you get handcuffs, there's never a good solution to it. So EC3 ends up getting James Storm handcuffed on the outside. His hands handcuffed through the rope, so he can't move. And this prompts EC3 to reach to his waist, pull off his belt. And I mean, folks, he must have hit James Storm 20+ times with that belt on the back, because when it actually got him down, you could see that his back was so purple and welts all over his back. I mean, he beat him 20+ times. And, this isn't going to do well for him, because as we know, James Storm ain't going to let this ride. And he took a beating. I mean, it really was. It was a sad thing to see. And the referees tried to go out there and stop it. Security tried to stop it. Nobody could stop EC3, but it just shows you just what great lengths of the heel EC3 is becoming now by doing this to the Cowboy James Storm. So just a sight to see. Up next, we have a tag team matchup. We have the Laredo Kid and Garza Jr. taking on Hakeem Zayn and Idris Abraham. It was an okay match, this was basically used to showcase Garza Jr. and Laredo Kid, which was a really good ending for them, which we see Laredo Kid, he ends up hitting the 450 splash onto Zayn, getting a 1, 2, 3, and we see once again where they're showing we belong here. We're a force to be reckoned with in the tag team division. So this is a good show for them. Very short match, kind of like jobbers, but hey, it's to enhance these guys getting established in the tag team division of Impact Wrestling. So good match, good win for Garza Jr. and Laredo Kid. Up next, we see the deranged yet still psychotic Laura Van Ness. She has this very, very I don't know, weird connection with Congo Kong, and so she ends up coming out in a matchup against Ava Story. She brings Congo Kong out with her. He, of course, is standing at the midway to the bottom of the ramp, watches as Laura Van Ness, and she just very short match once again. It's a squash match for Laura Van Ness, which Ava Story put on a better showing against Christina Von Oyd, I believe is her last name, from Von Eerie, excuse me, Christina Von Eerie, when she was taking on her in her first matchup. I was just very shocked that Laura Van Ness, which really hasn't wrestled, just showed just psychotic episodes. She gets the win easily. It was basically a squash match for Laura Van Ness, so she ends up picking up the victory by doing a curb stomp sort of move on Ava Story to pick up the 1, 2, 3. Laura Van Ness is your champion, or is your winner of the matchup. She, of course, leaves, and Congo Kong basically follows her. So we'll see that kind of relationship, or whatever you call it, developing in episodes to come. We see next, we had been talking about LAX was basically going to hold a funeral for Decay, so they start wearing the white makeup with the black eyes, and they're basically having a funeral. It's kind of coming out to some Undertaker type style music, and they're like talking about giving respect to them, and that's what it showed in the vignettes leading up to this. So then they turn around and they're going to disrespect the Decay, since, you know, Crazy Steve's left and whatnot. And so we see them pour the ashes and stomp on them and everything else. And Conan cuts in a promo about Latino power and talking about the American flag and stuff. And this dude's outside in the stand, and, you know, he's in the crowd waving an American flag. This makes Conan mad. He goes out there and he interacts with the fan, which just upsets VOW. As you remember, they come out, clear the ring. They send LAX packing. So we see a feud building between LAX and the VOW coming in, which I like this matchup because I think this will be a really good matchup for their the Impact Wrestling Tag Team Championship. So we see that feud going on. Up next, we see Moose. Moose comes out, and Moose, defends his grand championship against Marche Rocket over Twitter. Marche had challenged Moose. Moose is not going to back down from it. So we see they get into it round one. Basically, it was back and forth until near the end. Moose ends up edging Marche Rocket out for round one. Now, round two was total domination. Moose ends up hitting a sit-down choke slam to get the win. And he, in round two, pinning Marche Rocket, and he retains his title. However, this brings Tyrus out, and we see Tyrus along with Eli Drake attack Moose from behind, and they both beat him down. And Tyrus hits the heart punch on him, and we see Chris Adonis comes out. Remember, Chris Adonis was supposed to be hurt. I mean, he couldn't defend he couldn't go against Moose a couple weeks back. We see that he's all right now. He puts the Adonis lock on to him, and then Eli Drake ends up hitting him with a chair. As we see both of them kind of Adonis and Eli acknowledging each other, and we see him drape the title over Moose as they both leave. So this is going to further that feud between, with Adonis, Eli Drake, and Moose. So we see where that's going. Mackenzie Mitchell's in the back, which is so very beautiful. Talks to Dutch Mantel. She talks to him about basically a big announcement. Dutch says next week we're going to have Ultimate X back. Your fans are asking for it. You want more X Division? So we're going to have Trevor Lee. We're going to have Trevor Lee. We're going to have Adam Everett, and we're going to have Loki, your X Division champion, in an Ultimate X matchup. So that's pretty good. So we'll take a break right here, folks, and just hold tight, and we'll pause. We'll be right back. So we see our next matchup is Alicia Edwards, which is the wife of Eddie Edwards, taking on Angelina Love, which is the wife of Davey Richards. This feud has been going on between Eddie and Davey since Davey came back from injury. Remember, he was gone for a while. Eddie become a successful singles competitor. Even won the Impact Wrestling Heavyweight Championship. And ever since Angelina Love has came into his life, she's been really a changing for the worse for Davey Richards. It has caused the Wolves to break up now and become enemies, which just leads to this matchup, has brought their own wives into it. This is the first time I've seen Alicia Edwards take in the ring. I've seen Angelina Love before. She's a multi-time knockouts champion in this division. This really was like these ladies were going back and forth in the matchup, and Alicia was really taking it to Angelina Love. But basically, the match ends up in basically a DQ where Angelina Love takes a chain on her fist and she ends up hitting Alicia in the back of the head because Alicia is focused on Eddie Edwards, on Davey Richards, because remember, Davey tried to interfere in the matchup. So she ends up getting, remember, Eddie goes in because he's worried about Angelina going to continue to hurt Alicia. And then Davey comes in, takes his crutch, and he hits Eddie Edwards, further injuring, I imagine, his leg, as we've seen recently that he has had surgery on. So we see basically he comes in and he's hurt and he's trying to stop because his wife's down. And all Angelina Love kept doing was punching Alicia in the back of the head. She's down. Eddie Edwards is down. And we see the both Angelina Love and Davey Richards looking over. And they're kind of like in their weird, creepy sense in their relationship and marriage and the way they interact in the ring, that weird, creepy way when they kiss and stuff. We see that this is a feud that's basically going to continue on. This is the end of it. So, the matchup was okay. We figured there would be more to the storyline of it between all four people rather than just this matchup. So what we come down to, folks, is the last matchup of the night. This is the main event of Impact Wrestling. We have Alberto El Patron taking on the Global Force Wrestling Heavyweight Champion, which is Magnus. Remember, Magnus has been a Impact Wrestling champion himself before, and whoever holds this, he says, holds the golden ticket to challenge for the Impact Wrestling Heavyweight Championship, which is obtained by Bobby Lashley, who's basically been unstoppable since being the Impact Wrestling Heavyweight Champion. This was a good matchup. This match lasted about 30 minutes, folks. There was a lot of different things going on we've seen with El Patron in this matchup, a lot of near falls. We saw, some elbow off the top rope from Magnus at one point. Basically, that was a near fall. We basically seen El Patron try to go out, and we seen him take the fight to the outside for a little bit. We seen Magnus at one time try to get the clover leaf on Patron. Patron gets to the ropes, a rope break there. Patron gets the arm bar, the cross arm breaker on Magnus. Magnus gets to the ropes. We see, Magnus ends up suplexing El Patron on the outside onto the back suplex onto the ramp. Just a lot of action. This matchup it was a pretty decent matchup, and we see El Patron tries to go for the double stomp. He of course misses that. He was favoring his leg through the matchup as Magnus went to work on that. El Patron went to work on his arm, which of course sets up the moves. And this is what I like, working on the body part throughout the matchup to set up a submission move. It gets lost in today's wrestling. But we see when the ending comes, when El Patron ends up getting Magnus in once again, the cross arm breaker. Magnus has nowhere to go. Magnus is tired. Magnus is in the middle of the ring. He can't reach the ropes. He ends up having no choice but to submit. Here you are, the bell rings. You have a new Global Force Wrestling champion, Alberto El Patron, who seems very happy. The fans are behind him. He's over as a face in Impact, and that's where he needs to stay. Get these guys to get good reactions to whatever it is and get the crowd behind him. The crowd's behind him. Keep them behind them, whether they're a heel, which is what EC3, or you have Alberto El Patron, which is now your face. So it's kind of funny that would work out the way that it has. But, you know, I think both guys have turned the corner for their prospective face turn or heel turns, and having the people behind them or people booing them, which is what they need to do in order to build strong heel face characters in these. So El Patron celebrates with the crowd. He gets on there after Impact goes off and thanks to people, and he's proud to be their champion, and he poses with the title. He even grows in the crowd and poses with the title. So it was a good matchup for Impact Wrestling, and I really thought it was pretty good. So that's what it was. And see a new champion, like I said, in El Patron becoming the Global Force Wrestling heavyweight champion, and quite a few other good matches. They're working towards getting what they need to go. So I hope you've enjoyed my results here. If you like this video, drop a like on it. Have any comments for me? Comment in the comment section here. Like this video, like I said, once again, need all the likes. Sub to my channel if you haven't, because I'm putting out wrestling content, political content, anything I can put out. Feel free to have any ideas. Drop them in the comments. So like this video, share this video, and subscribe to me, folks. So until next time, until my next video comes out, this is Bill Mack here with Pro Wrestling Unleashed saying, take it easy.